I'm MaryBeth Skerjanec. I teach at Sterling Middle School in RE1 Valley School Districts in Sterling, Colorado. I've been in this building for 5 years. I teach reading and writing. This year I have an advanced group doing English 1 for high school credit. And I'm a hometown girl, born and bred here. Taught at our junior college for 7 years, taught in Burlington, Colorado and Cheyenne Wells, Colorado, and haven't lived anywhere but Colorado. 8th graders are amazing. I love middle school. I hated being a middle schooler, hated every minute of being in junior high and the social pressures and the icky boys and the nasty girls, and swore I would never teach junior high. And then I had 4 boys, and when the first one hit 7th grade, I'm like, I get it. I understand. It all makes sense. And I love this age group. They're amazing.
Let's go through, talk a little bit about budget cuts here. Give me a sense of how things have changed in your classroom, in your school, say over the past 2-3 years.
You know, we didn't really get hit amazingly hard until last year, and that's when we're told copy budget is down. We have no classroom budget. All of our extras are coming out of our pocket if we want any kind of classroom rewards. We used to have so much per classroom, and now there's absolutely nothing. The hardest budget hit is losing staff, and so we pick up extra classes, and we're kind of losing our middle school concept and becoming back to the traditional junior high. So we don't get a lot of team planning, and it negatively hits us because we can't discuss kids and their needs as much as we'd like to. And with the RTI process and that definite need to see what each child needs on their own level, there's just no time because we are just being pulled so many different directions. If the budget cuts that our district is going to happen, if they are going to cut more teachers, we look at our classrooms and we're like, I don't know where I'd put 4 more desks. I don't know how I would put 4 more kids in my classroom or 6 more kids in my classroom and be able to meet their needs. And it's just a very discouraging part of education right now.
How do you think the budget cuts of last year kind of translated to children?
I think they were thought of last. I think their needs are not being met. And so they're not getting the supplies they need in their classroom. They're not getting the attention they need. We're not getting the technology they need. And in our district, we're very blessed to have a community member who donates millions of dollars for our children in technology. And the fact that our school can't afford to keep up with the technology being offered, with tech support, and with the maintenance of all of this phenomenal gift, it's heartbreaking. And the kids totally, they know, they see it, they understand. You know, there's nothing in this room because we don't have the money for it. Most of my desk seats are broken because there's no money for them, and I tell them, don't wear short shorts. You're gonna get pinched in those cracks on those seats. And they know it's hitting them just as hard as we feel it.
So morale-wise, you can
it's
feel that?
Horrible.
You can feel that in the students as well?
You know, the students, they feel like they don't matter a lot of times because what we end up talking about is a new roof for a building and how are we going to afford it, and the kids are like, what about us? Do we count? Are we part of that new roof? And they constantly hear about what's going to be cut, and a lot of it is what they're interested in. And so every time someone says, we're going to cut the sports, we're going to cut the clubs, we're going to cut the fun programs that a lot of kids stay in school to do, they wonder, where do we fit? And why don't we matter? And why don't we get to have a voice in this? And that really discourages them. Who can we go talk to? Oh, trying to keep them motivated to turn in homework, to participate in class. And budget cuts come in March, CSAPs come in March. Everything seems to just pile on. The crappy weather comes in March. The wind blows all during March, and by the time we're done with March, these kids can barely make it through April. And the end of the school year just becomes very, very, drudge work and trying to find that, come on guys, we can do it. Just, 6 more weeks. And it's difficult with these kids.
Well, what's kind of like the anxiety level in this building for what's coming down the road?
We really try to support each other and to say, you know, it's been worse. It has to get better, even though it doesn't seem to. And can we make it through these really tough times with what we have? And how are we going to make it work if our classrooms increase in size? How do we help each other? And we try to keep each other's morale up. We try to understand this isn't just Colorado. This is nationwide. And we just draw on our experiences. What have we done before when it's gotten really tough? And where do we need to go now? And what do we need to do to help this get better?
As we've seen things happen in Wisconsin, as we've seen national debate, and you hear all these things about teachers, or when you put up their salary and benefits, they're overpaid. They only work 9 months out of the year. You know, they don't have to do a good job because they're impossible to fire them. What do you think when you hear all this?
Anybody who is uninformed enough to use those terms, you know they've never been in a classroom. You know they've never had to go to summer school to keep their certification up. You know they've never had to attend conferences throughout the summer with no pay in order to keep their jobs. They don't know about taking home 2 to 3 hours of homework every night, or planning, or Saturday seminars to learn how to use the technology, and that teaching is never a 9-month job. If they looked at our benefits, you might have a state that has amazing benefits, and you go to the next state where the benefits, there's nothing there. Our health insurance is horrible, what it costs out of your paycheck to cover a family health insurance. And I'm not sure anybody who hasn't been in the education business can really say what's going on with educators. I would never myself say what goes on in the military and that it's unfair and they get too much if I've never been military, or if I've never been an accountant. And until everybody thinks they know education because they went to school. And until you've been an educator, you don't know education. And that's where it has to start. You know, class size, in the day and age of what we're trying to do, again, back to RTI, response to intervention. Response to intervention is for every child at their level and meeting them where their needs are. And that can be your gifted child, your normal child, or your special ed child. And right now, because of the way the dynamics work in our building, my 5th hour class will come in and there's 16. And they will tell you that it is the most marvelous class to be in, and they love 5th hour because each child in there gets special attention all the time. And my 7th hour, which is at 26, will tell you it's the worst hour. You have more behavior problems, you have more needy children, and you can't get to them. And it's so hard to get to 26 kids every day and make sure you know where they are and where they are at, what's going on in their home lives, what's going on in their personal world of girl drama and boys being stupid to each other. And it's just, you can't expect someone to form a relationship in 52 minutes with 26 kids. And to think that that's going to increase even more next year is quite startling. And I'm one of the lucky teachers. I've got teammates who are at 30 every single hour. And to imagine them going to 32 to 35, I don't see why a parent would keep their kid in a school.